Welcome to Breaking the Silence, the podcast where real conversations meet real healing. We're your hosts, Raynea and Kelly, two women who know what it's like to walk through loss, face hard truths, and come out stronger on the other side. Together, we're breaking down walls, sharing stories, and talking openly about everything from grief and healing to love, faith, and relationships. This is a safe space for laughter, honesty, and those Me Too moments that remind us we're not alone. So grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and let's journey through life together. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to Breaking the Silence. I'm Raynea, and it is actually just me here today. This is going to be a short bonus episode, like I said, but just me. So, if you haven't listened to the first episode of May, which is talking about your nervous system, I would highly encourage you to go listen to that first because, this will still make sense, but you'll understand sort of where I'm coming from and why I'm doing this. So in that episode, I talk about like some of the different attachments and attachment styles and maybe how things look for them, like what they do. And I had mentioned in that some of the work or one small thing that a fearful avoidant could do is choose to stay. And I really got to thinking about that. And I thought, well, gosh, that's sort of can be the fearful avoidant and the dismissive avoidant. Dismissive avoidants really struggle with staying, and fearful avoidant, depending on the situation, they can shift. If they're more on their anxious side, they're going to stay. They're like in it, they sometimes overstay because they're trying to hold on to that connection, right? And if they're leaning in their avoidant side, then yes, absolutely. Maybe they do choose to like not stay and I need to get out of here. And so I just sort of wanted to go into that a little deeper and hopefully it makes sense to you as I'm sharing. So let's sort of just jump into it. Okay, so like I said, I think it's super important for us to talk about this because number one, I don't ever want anyone to feel misunderstood, especially when we are talking about attachment styles. And this isn't about labeling you, but to help you understand what might be happening underneath your reactions. So let's go ahead and start with the dismissive avoidance. They are most likely, typically the ones I should say, to most likely fully detach. They shut down, they create distance, and sometimes they convince themselves that they're better off alone. And it can sound like this: I'm just busy. I'm not ready for a relationship. I can't give you what you need. We're just too different. Things like that. Those are going to be the things you're going to hear from them. But underneath that, there's usually something else going on. This feels vulnerable. I feel pressured. I don't know how to stay connected when emotions get intense. Distance feels safer than depending on someone. Their nervous system often connects closeness with losing their independence. And if, when growing up or past experiences, they it showed them, their past experiences showed them, depending on someone, didn't work out, you know? So they learned to trust themselves and that it isn't safe. So for them, staying is actually the hard part. It feels safer to leave. Their nervous system is telling them, run, get out of here, seek safety. That's all your nervous system is asking is, am I safe? And from past experiences, they feel like they're not safe. So staying is the hard part. Staying in the conversation is the hard part. Staying present when things feel emotional, that's the work. So not even necessarily just completely like leaving, which they absolutely will. They will shut down and deactivate and say, this just isn't going to work. The work for them really is choosing to stay in the conversation, even when things are starting to feel a little bit hard, to still stay present. So, and those small steps might look like I said, staying in the conversation a few minutes longer before shutting down, before saying, hey, I need to take some space. Naming one feeling instead of saying, I'm fine. Letting someone help them in a small way. Asking for space without disappearing. Communicating that you need space. Noticing the urge to leave and not acting on it right away. Being able to start to, I think, question, is there anything really wrong with this person? Because if this person's, for the most part, like you feel like they're pretty amazing, maybe this is your nervous system talking to you and trying to convince you of something. So it's not about forcing connection. It's about slowly teaching their body that connection can be safe. Okay, so let's talk about the fearful avoidant. This is where it can feel confusing because there is the deep desire for connection and at the same time, a deep fear of it. So it can look like the push-pull. Come closer. Wait, that feels scary. I need reassurance. You're too close. Please don't leave. I need space. Like you can get the whole mix depending on where they're at. And they can also leave too. Like I said, they absolutely can. They can leave for several different reasons, obviously lots of different reasons, but it often feels more reactive for them if they haven't done their work, more emotional, more tied to what they're feeling in the moment. They are, I would say, way more reactive than dismissive avoidant. So a fearful avoidant might pull away right after being vulnerable. End things impulsively, test whether someone will come after them, feel afraid of being abandoned while also feeling overwhelmed by the closeness. Leave and then afterwards replay everything and want to come back. Like once their nervous system is calmed and then they're like, what did I do? That basically, did I just make the wrong decision feeling? That tends to live here. So their work isn't just staying. It's slowing down, not making permanent decisions from temporary feelings, letting the wave pass before they react. That's where the pause is so, so important. Taking small steps. Like their small steps might look like, I said, pausing before sending the breakup text. saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed instead of pulling away. Noticing when calm feels unfamiliar and not creating chaos to match what they're used to. That very much used to be a place that I could be in years ago. Like calm, I didn't know what calm felt weird to me. Like what? I was used to chaos in my life. So even though I didn't want chaos felt familiar. I knew what to do with that. I knew what to do with dysfunction, right? So when it's calm and there isn't all this chaos and dysfunction and things are really good, gosh, that's a really good sign that maybe your nervous system just doesn't know what to do with that. And you have to slowly teach and let your nervous system learn that. And, so anyways, learning that safe love might feel slower. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It shouldn't be these crazy, like, roller coaster rides, like this high where you're like so high on dopamine and then you crash down and then you're back up. And then that's just chaos, right? In your nervous system again. And just to briefly touch on the other ones quickly, anxious attachment is usually not the one leaving first. Their work is often learning to give space without over pursuing and learning how to self-soothe. And secure attachment, that they communicate clearly. They don't use distance as a way to cope. They stay connected even when things feel uncomfortable. So if you take anything from this, it's this. Not all avoidants leave for the same reasons. Some leave to protect their independence. So you really have to know what type of avoidant it is to know what their wound is and what they're trying to protect. So some leave for their independence, and some leave because they feel overwhelmed and don't know how to stay, feel like they're not good enough. They can't, they're just not good enough for the person or whatever. They'll never give them what they need. Some might leave for fear of eventually they'll betray me or abandonment. But underneath all of it, there's a nervous system trying to heal. And that is ultimately what it comes down to. And healing doesn't start with forcing yourself to be different. It starts with the awareness and then small, honest steps, growth, just tiny steps that are buildable, that we are always reaching for growth. So if this helped you, I would love to hear from you. You can always reach out, share this bonus episode if you want, or go back and share the other one, of course, with anybody that you feel like needs it. That is exactly why we're here. And as we move through the month of May, talking about the nervous system, just remember, you are not overreacting. Your body is responding to something it learned. And it can learn something new. So we send you off with so much love until the next episode. Thank you for spending time with us on Breaking the Silence. We hope today's conversation brought you comfort, hope, and maybe even a little laughter. Because healing doesn't have to happen alone. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need it too. And be sure to subscribe so that you do not miss a moment with Kelly and I. Until next time, remember, you're not alone, and there's always space for you here.